Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story about a promise so wild it sounded like a joke, and the kind of courage it takes to argue for justice even with God himself. This is the story of Abraham's incredible transformation.
And it all really kicks off with the big question this ancient story makes you ask. What kind of God are we dealing with here? Is God this distant, unchanging force who just makes decrees? Or is this a God who actually invites a relationship, maybe even a little back and forth?
So, our story opens in a pretty simple setting. Under the oaks of Mamre, Abraham, who's an old man at this point, looks up and sees three mysterious strangers. And in this amazing act of hospitality, he just rushes out to welcome them, with no idea he's actually welcoming messengers from God.
And here's the context that makes this whole thing just wow. Abraham is 99 years old. His wife, Sarah, is 90. I mean, they are way past the age of having kids, but these visitors are about to make a promise that seems to break all the laws of nature. In that promise, it's a son, a real heir. Sarah is inside the tent listening in, and when she hears this impossible news, she does the most human thing you can imagine. She laughs. And it's not a simple laugh. It's one that's packed with a whole lifetime of waiting and letdowns. But this isn't just any laugh, you know? What does it really mean? It's way more complicated than just thinking something's funny or unbelievable. So let's break this down a little bit. Okay, so the original Hebrew word here is tachak, and this word is fascinating because it's got this incredible double meaning. On the one hand, it can be that cynical, bitter laugh of, yeah, right, but it can also be the shocked, joyful laugh you have when a dream you gave up on suddenly comes true. And in this perfect literary twist, this very word becomes the root of their son's name, Isaac, which literally means he laughs. So you can think of her reaction like this. A big chunk of it, maybe half, is just straight-up disbelief from a lifetime of disappointment. Then you've got the sheer exhaustion from hoping for so long. But look at this last part. There's still a tiny flicker of hope in there, wondering if maybe, just maybe, this impossible thing could actually happen.
Okay, so right when we're deep in this really personal, intense family drama, the story just hits the brakes and pivots hard. The camera zooms way out, from the future of one little family to the fate of an entire city.
And it turns out the divine visitors have another reason for being there. They're on their way to investigate the outcry against the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And, well, the plan isn't about creating new life this time. It's about destruction. The stakes just got a whole lot higher.
So this moment is huge. Abraham has just been handed this personal promise of life that requires a ton of faith. And now he's hit with this divine plan for death that tests his faith in a totally different way. Is he just going to stand by and accept it, or is he going to step up? Instead of just quietly accepting what he's told, Abraham does something truly incredible. Maybe feeling a little bolder after that impossible promise, he doesn't just bow his head and pray. He steps forward, stands his ground, and starts to challenge God. And this kicks off one of the boldest negotiations you'll ever read. He starts high. What if there are 50 good people there? God's like, okay, I'll spare it. So Abraham pushes his luck. What about 45? Okay. And he just keeps going. 30, 20, until he gets down to this last desperate number, just 10 righteous people. But here's the thing. He's not just haggling over numbers. He's making a brilliant argument. He's appealing to God's own character. He asks, will the judge of all the earth not do what is right? He's basically holding up a mirror to God, saying, you're a just God. A just God wouldn't destroy the innocent with the guilty, right? And this is so important to get. What he's doing isn't rebellion. It's actually an act of profound faith. You see, his faith isn't about being a silent yes man. It's an active, engaged relationship with a God he truly believes is just and merciful, and he's bold enough to hold God to that standard. So this whole exchange, it gives us a completely new way to think about what faith really is, moving it way beyond just a personal belief. This story just blows up the idea of faith as some private, passive thing. It shows us that real faith, it's active, not passive. It's a conversation, not a one-way street. It's about caring for justice for other people, not just getting your own blessings. And yeah, it means having the guts to ask the tough questions, all because you believe in a God of mercy and righteousness. And in this moment, Abraham is completely transformed. He starts out as this guy just passively receiving a promise, and he becomes an active partner, an advocate, who's actually participating in the divine work of justice. I mean, Just think about that journey for a second. He goes from this quiet, doubtful laugh inside his own tent to standing face to face with the divine, pleading for the lives of total strangers. That is a breathtaking transformation.
So we end up back where we started, but now we're looking at everything through a new lens. This story suggests that true faith isn't just about what you believe in your head, it's about what you do in the world. And that leaves us with a question for you to think about. What does your faith, whatever it might be, move you to act for?